A blessed day, viewers of Be Not Afraid. So I'm your host, Edwin Valles, and in this particular podcast, we talk about the journeys of LGBT persons through their Catholic faith. No? So we are now in part 2 of our episode with Brother Rico. No? So pinag-uusapan natin yung the state of spiritual health of LGBT persons during the pandemic. No? So nanineglect kasi pag-usapan yun, di ba? Laging may physical health, laging may mental health conversation, but maybe not as much conversation is dedicated towards spiritual health. No? So, dun po sa first part episode, na bahagi ni Rico na parang he was led to structure his day, no? So, and yung highlight of the day na is actually yung Netflix time na and he got hooked with Chloe, no? Yung Crash Landing on You. And parang doon sa last part nung interview natin, ng part 1, yung what attracted him to Chloe was yung selfless form of love that was shown by the main characters. But what was peculiar is that it was a selfless love but without any physical contact, no? So hindi siya sexual. And yet it is as intimate, as pure, and as powerful. No? Yun yung kanyang description. So yan, pakibati po uli yung ating podcast viewers, Brother Rico.
Good afternoon to all the people watching Be Not Afraid, our podcast. Happy to be here again.
Yan, so sige, so pagpatuloy na natin ang yung mga Chloe musings.
Chloe music, cue music.
Yeah, so going back, no. So dun sa Chloe, yun na, parang you found it attractive. Actually you were moved powerfully, 'di ba? Nakwento mo na pagkatapos mo mag-binge watch, mugto-mugto ang mata mo, 'di ba? So yeah, anything else na parang you'd like to share dun about your experience with Chloe, no? So
again, going back to why I was attracted. Of course, in the beginning, while I was watching it, hindi ko alam kung bakit ako na-hook sa kanya. But I guess yung mga elements talaga. At the end of that whole series, ang nasabi ko sa sarili ko is parang, shucks, I'm already this age and I don't think I've ever been loved that deeply and that selflessly ever. Tapos I've also, and at the same time, I realized na parang I've never loved anyone that deeply and that selflessly also. So parang both ways. So parang sabi ko talaga, pagkatapos ng pandemic, pag okay na lahat, yan yung tatargeted ko. Yan, that kind of love. Kasi alam mo, Edwin, napaka-sacrificial ng doon, si Captain. So, di ba napunta yung girl sa North Korea. So eventually, he let her go back. So bumalik siya sa South Korea. Pero yung antagonist, sumunod dun sa girl. So for the guy to be able to save the girl, si Captain has to also go to South Korea, which is like parang a super no-no kasi siya military siya and all of that. Parang you never go to the other world because you're a certain person. Correct. In your world.
So it's parang a clearly dangerous move for him, di ba? Kasi
very dangerous. Alam niyang pwedeng maging fatal for him. Alam niyang politically pwedeng maging problematic for him and his family. Kasi yung father niya, general. So parang it was such a big stake move for him to make that crossover to the other side. Pero he did it because of his love for the girl. Tapos doon ngayon naisip ko na parang sarap siguro kung may nagmahal sa iyo ng gano'n, or at the same token, ang sarap din siguro ng feeling kung meron kang minahal ng gano'n, yung parang you will not think of what's good for you. You'll only think of what's good for the other.
For the other, yeah, okay.
Which is apparently how love is defined talaga, 'di ba?
Yeah. Kasi nga, I mean, so both of us are LGBT persons, no? So, yeah, I mean, parang one of the slogans of the LGBT movement is love is love, no? So, kumbaga, deep inside us, we desire for that love, no? Yung hinahanap natin yung love na yun. Pero yun na nga, siguro through the mystery of Chloe, di ba? So, na parang naging clear sa'yo na yung love na hinahanap is yung selfless, no? So, willing
Oo,
the good of the other. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
for the
very,
other.
for the other, yeah. Yeah,
So
so,
yun. Tapos, so ito na, continuing with so natapos ko na yun, and then I moved on to other K-dramas and all of that. There were several, maybe two or three others before I stopped watching altogether. And then dumating yung Holy Week.
okay. Yeah, kasi nga March
Dumating yung
16
Holy
yung
Week.
pandemic, di
Kasi
ba? Tapos,
March 16, so
sa
bandang
something April,
April,
yeah.
ganyan.
Yeah.
So we were locked down, so we had to observe. Weird kasi 'di ba parang I'm used to observing the Holy Week in church kasi nga nagsiserve kami sa church. Therefore, for last year, all of a sudden, yung parang yung Triduum, parang i-suspend mo sa bahay. I mean, you only do TV Mass when you're sick, at home, di ba? Parang unthinkable yun na Holy Week, Good Friday, dadaan na hindi ka
Yeah.
pupunta sa simbahan, ganyan. So it was Good Friday. So I did it. I did the whole 3 days. So since I had all the time in the world and everything was available online. So Thursday, Last Supper, washing of the feet and all of that. And then Friday, the Friday service, yung seven last words, and then the adoration of the cross.
Correct.
Nagka-moment ako nung adoration of the cross kasi I tuned into the Archdiocese of Singapore
Okay.
live stream.
Yeah.
Kasi napaka-stark, ang ganda-ganda ng coverage na kasi startups, multicam, tapos kumu-close up sa cross, yung napaka-cinematic nung production. And I was so drawn to it. Tapos ng adoration of the cross, of course they were praying in the background, music was playing. And I was adoring the cross on screen. Tapos alam mo yung love of knowing how God died for you. Knowing that intellectually and not really making a difference in your own life. For the first time in my life, something clicked and it became so real to me. Parang of course, there was no physical voice that said, parang I heard it in my being, na parang you tell yourself that no one has loved you that way. Yung ganun ka-selfless. And here I am, parang I actually died for you because I loved you that way and much more real than what you saw in the TV show. So sabi ko, oh my gosh, parang that was the only time that I really felt it in every soul, in every cell of my being. How real that love was and that sacrifice was. Yung imagine God became man. I mean, when he didn't really have to, so that we can be brought back to the Father. Parang ganun. And so yun, so that moment became so clear to me. And then because of that realization, parang the next question is, having been loved that way, how do I love him back? How do I honor the love that he offered to me? Which of course parang makes you think about the question, the biggest question at that moment is, does your life honor the love of the Lord? Kumbaga, is the kind of life that you are living worthy of the love that he gave you, having died for you and having saved you? So from that point on, I really started on that journey of again turning into the beliefs and the truths that we as LGBT people have always tried to avoid, because parang we didn't really want to know the truth about yung questions about the way we live our lives, um, about our attractions, about our passions, about our addictions, and all of that. What does the church really have to say about it? Malinaw naman eh. But tayo in our desire, I guess, to get away with it, parang we invent our own versions of the truth. Parang ganon. So I guess I was guilty of that all this time, all these years and all these decades of having lived actively in the LGBT lifestyle. So that sort of began my journey. I ordered I ordered the catechism book sa Lazada, sa online. And then I started reading up on I bought a Kindle because I wanted to read Confessions of Saint Augustine. But there was a hunger.
Yeah.
There was a hunger for what the church really thought about, not just about our lifestyle, but about being a worthy Christian, I guess, a worthy follower, a worthy lover of the Lord. So parang
Wow. So anong nangyari talaga yung Chloe, yung crash landing on you because you parang you were moved by the love that was shown in the characters,
mm-mm,
'di ba? And then
mm-mm,
somehow parang God led you to the Good Friday experience. What you knew intellectually to be a to be the parang selfless love of God became real, no? So because of kumbaga yung being moved by watching Chloe parang facilitated that parang that the incarnation of God's love to you, 'di ba? In a personal manner, no? And because it was incarnated. So maganda yung ano mo yung words that you use, 'di ba? From intellect to heart, 'di ba? So naramdaman mo na in your heart that the love God has shown is real, it and powerful but also compelling, no? So it
mm-mm.
compelled you to respond to such a powerful love, no? So and parang interestingly enough yung response mo was also intellectual hunger, 'di ba? So parang you wanted to seek more of the truth, no? So yun, nag-order ka ng catechism, you wanted to read books. Konektado rin ba to dun sa sinare mo dun sa first part natin na you stumbled upon Bishop Barron and then
Mm-mm.
leading up to parang to the other Catholic apologists, 'di ba? So tama ba 'yon?
Super connected siya.
Okay.
I liken it to parang 'di ba during the time when Jesus was still here with us, when he would teach something, he would use stories that are
Okay.
relatable to the people, to
Yes,
his
parable. Yeah,
listeners.
yeah. So yung
So
Chloe
para
mo yung
siyang
parable
so
mo.
parang para ang feeling ko nga parang modern day parable for me yung Chloe kasi parang that was his way of reaching my heart.
Yeah, yeah.
Parang parang ganun niya weave yung 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 gusto niyang sabihin sa akin, I suppose. And it so worked.
Yeah, yeah.
Tapos yun,
Ang
kasama
meaning,
yun sa
sorry, ang meaning
mm,
ng parable actually is ano to? To put beside eh. So exactly may parallel story and
mm,
because
mm,
naging klaro yung development or lesson or theme of that parallel story, mabilis mo siyang i-crossover to your own experience, no? So wow. Parang it's a parang gospel story in action. I mean parang live, no?
tama,
So
tama.
yeah. Yes.
So yun, aside from the books, yun na nga, I would dig, alam mo naman sa FB, sa YouTube, di ba? You watch one video and it will lead you to another video and that video will lead to another
Right.
video. And before you know it, you're like going deeper and deeper into what you are looking for.
Pero very interesting kasi yung intellectual curiosity mo, intellectual hunger can mean many things naman eh. Pero it's very interesting bakit ka nag-zero in about yung LGBT experience. No? So parang you were asking more about the questions of sexuality for example. No? So
Mm, 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 mm.
or ano so yeah, maybe
Actually, ano yun very intentional yun. Kumbaga, at the
okay.
end of the day, yun talaga yung what does the church really say about the homosexual lifestyle? totoo ba yung chismis na okay lang yan as long as there is genuine love between the two people? Totoo ba yung naririnig-rinig ko dati or yung pinapaniwalaan ko na okay lang yan as long as you're not stepping on someone else's toes? Okay lang yan as long as you are exclusive.
Yeah.
Di ba? Yun yung mga, yung kung kayo
Or you're
dalawa lang
doing
and
good, di ba? Or you're doing good, di ba?
okay
So,
lang yan since anyway you serve in church and all of that. So parang yun talaga yung eternal debate in my head. And of course,
for quite some time na, I'd imagine, no?
Oh,
so,
yeah.
prior to the pandemic, yeah.
Oh, yes. Like practically my entire adult life until that moment. It was an excuse for me to have my cake and eat it too. Alam mo yun, yung parang to have the best of both worlds. Yung parang you feel you're saved, but you're also free to enjoy what you want to enjoy. Yung parang ganun. So parang ano talaga siya, two nature. Sabi nga ni sabi nga ni Saint Augustine, diba, yung push and pull, parang the constant tug of war inside, na parang gano'n.
Correct.
So intentional siya. As in, the question in my head was, ano ba talaga ang totoo?
Because you want to respond to the selfless love that you
I wanted to respond,
diba?
yes. I wanted to love him back in the best way that I could.
Okay.
And of course, the search led me to, yun na nga, parang there's got to be some kind of transformation. You can't be the same person. You can't be the person that you used to be. I mean, it's still you, but there are certain things that you have to give up.
Okay. Nako. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe parang care to expand or elaborate on that some more. No? So, siguro, I mean, parang maybe share 3 main points of realization. So, 2 to 3 main points of realization. So, what you thought prior to that experience and then what you realized searching for the truth, no? So yeah, maybe 2 to 3 para at least mas maging specific or relatable for our podcast viewers.
It's all related to Edwin. I think it's all related to our passions. Like no, I guess the biggest question is it okay to live the gay lifestyle? I mean, it's one thing to be attracted, to be same-sex attracted, but is it okay to once in a while give into that attraction? And the answer was, of course, no. Parang it's the cross that you have to be.
Okay, how did you arrive at that? Parang that definitive no. So I mean, just feel free to articulate lang yung what you have found out so far. Yes.
I don't have the verses in front of me. Hindi ko memorized the lines in the catechism. Pero ang malinaw naman yung teachings ng Catholic Church about homosexuality. Parang ano nga yung term, Edwin?
Yeah. So siguro siguro magsimula tayo doon sa eventually tama ba? Parang kasi magsisimula siya lagi doon sa understanding the beautiful gift or the sacredness of the sexual act, no? Tama ba? So and then from realizing the sacredness of the sacred sexual act. So and how yung sexual expression that is same sex, 'di ba? Parang fit
is
or
contrary
maybe or
is contrary.
Tama ba? Ganun ba yun?
Oh,
yeah, so okay.
Actually, no, ang una talaga yung personal, yung parang I didn't even want to take a look at the sexual act and how it was designed to be.
Okay.
Although of course the question sort of led me there, that this is how it was designed to be. The sexual act is between a married man and a married woman, and anything outside of that is not acceptable in the eyes of the Lord. Parang ganon. So
sa'yo, mas personal, 'di ba? Parang siguro I guess yung love experience mo noon parang made you evaluate yung mga expressions of your love in the past, tama ba? So, and
Mm-mm.
how that matches. Sige, okay, yeah, yeah.
How that matches or how that does not match.
Correct. Doon sa the
Parang,
experience of the love from God. Okay, sige, yeah.
the experience from the love of God. So that's one. And then, siguro, same-sex marriage. The question on same-sex marriage, which is again related to yun na nga, how how God originally intended it to be between man and woman. Parang ganon, diba? So parang ang dami-daming questions. Sorry, at this point I cannot really articulate
Yeah, no
all
problem.
of the teachings as clearly as I would want to be. But what's true to me is parang I was convinced after having read everything that I read and heard everything that I heard, I was convinced that yun na nga, parang malinaw. There's no gray area, and if it means having to give up a part of how I used to be, so that I will be able to really honor God with my life, and that's how it's going to be. And I knew in the beginning, parang how am I gonna do this? Parang how can I do this by myself? I know I've tried in the past and I failed and I've always like fell back. So how can I do this? So parang naisip ko talaga there's got to be some person or some group of people that I can reach out to and maybe, share what I was going through. So that sort of, I guess, led me to, again, through the internet, searching for a group that I could probably call and inquire and ask for guidance, having started the journey for myself and not knowing where this will lead me. Parang ganun.
So tama
And
ba?
that's
Parang yeah. Kasi parang when you were sharing experience, parang bumalik tayo dun sa figure of the cross, no? So tama ba? Kasi yun yung Good Friday experience mo, yung adoration of the cross, 'di ba? Doon mo naramdaman or naging klaro sa from intellect, nagkaroon ng intellect to heart transfer of how
mm-mm,
real the love God has given you, 'di ba? So,
mm-mm,
and then siguro parang
mm-mm,
as a response was, ano yung, what is your cross expression in the, on that love? And siguro at that point, you appraise yung same-sex love that you express to be siguro not as selfless, di ba? So and then you understood na for you to be able to parang to respond back to the love that was shown, it has to be selfless. Parang kumbaga tama ba? Yung parang you have to give of yourself, no? So
I,
sacrificial, di ba? So
I totally have to give up myself and
yeah,
parang and if it means nga giving up that part of my, I guess,
experience, di ba? Oh,
desires and
yeah, 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 agree.
experience, parang it was worth giving up at that point. And up to this day parang I'm still there.
Yeah, yeah. So yung passion, parang yung same-sex passion, felt na it was a self-passion, no? So hindi siya selfless. Tama ba? Tama ba?
I
Parang ganun.
super
Yeah, yeah.
It's really about what will make me happy lang
Okay.
naman talaga eh. Kasi parang that's the only purpose that it serves. Kasi nakita ko na parang wala naman siyang purpose in terms of
Yeah,
propagating the species and all of
yeah.
that,
Yeah.
'di ba? Yung parang ano lang talaga siya eh. It was just that. It was for the sake of pleasure. So parang for me, that kind of human connection is really more selfish than anything else.
Okay.
It's it's
Yeah.
it's all about the self.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so siguro nabanggit na ni Brother Rico, no? So he did search for a group, no? So and parang as most of you know, no, I'm with Courage Philippines, the Catholic apostolate for LGBT persons. And
Mm-mm.
si Rico
Mm-mm.
talaga parang isa pandemic member. So ay sa totoo lang nung nagka-pandemic kami rin sa Courage, nalito kami anong gagawin namin, anong mangyayari kasi uh, yung sharing meeting encourage is very important kasi yung face-to-face presence kasi doon mo mararanasan yung presence ni God, 'di ba? Presence of a community, yung support community. So nung nag-pandemic, hindi kami pwedeng magkita-kita, 'di ba? So paano 'yon, 'di ba? So like most communities, we had to do it online and even accept new members, 'di ba? So na parang feeling namin we were not ideal, but we were surprised. So si Brother Rico, in-interview namin siya online and then sumasama siya sa mga meetings online lang, 'di ba? And yet we noticed that he was actually growing, 'di ba? So in faith and in the journey. So kaya yun yung mystery of it all, 'di ba? So somehow, ko-connect natin sa pandemic. Akala natin yung pandemic parang magkakaletse-letse yung physical health natin, magkakaletse-letse yung mental health natin, magkakaletse-letse yung spiritual health natin. But in God's mysterious ways, He makes it fruitful, di ba? So, as per Rico's experience, no? So, yung mga connection nun, yung mga para, sino ba mag-iisip na yung crash landing on you na Korean telenovela will be a Christ landing on you experience on the part of Brother Rico.
I know.
So, yun. So, pag-usapan po natin, we will dedicate yung third part of this interview, yung kanyang journey na, di ba? So, parang ano yung mga, paano siya sinasamahan ni Christ, di ba? In his journey, in the deepening of faith, or maybe knowing more truths, discovering more truths, and how is living that, di ba? Living those during these pandemic times. No? So, until then, so I hope you would still join us dun sa part 3 in this interview when we talk about LGBT persons and their spiritual health journey through the pandemic. So, until then, I'm your host, Edwin Valles, parang reminding everyone, diba? So let's lovingly hear the words of Jesus Christ. It is I, be not afraid.